Quick point about Facebook. How many folks are on Facebook? Good. It's better than normal. It's getting up there. I was just talking to an HR person who's here among you. She will remain nameless, but she confirmed something that I knew. She said they use Facebook, and if she has a candidate list of 50, she'll go through and knock out 25 just based on the pictures posted on Facebook. Because A, they're keg stands, or it's you at the Bon Jovi concert with the cigarette lighter from when you were in 8th grade or whatever. But so those pictures have to go. The political postings have to go. And you also have to set your privacy settings on Facebook so that only your friends can see your pictures. If you're confused, get a teenager. They'll explain it in 5 minutes. No joke. I've got a teenager at home just for such an emergency. She's helped me because I have a cousin. His profile on Facebook, you don't know this, it's a gun. It's a gun pointing at the camera. And I'm thinking, okay, I didn't know that was your person. And he's like, he's not a white Aryan resistance guy, but it's the stuff I didn't know about my cousin. And I didn't want to know about my cousin, and I wouldn't hire this person in a second. So just get some objective viewpoints, have people look through your postings. All the politics has to go. All the bad pictures have to go. Facebook is now, there are back doors into Facebook too. We don't have time for that, but there are back doors into LinkedIn as well. So sometimes people who are not your friends can still see what's on your profiles. So just take it out. Just sanitize your profile.
Make sure, the point is, you want to make sure that whatever social networking media you're part of, or you're into, or you use, presents you in the light that you want to be presented in. And if you're proactive about what you put up there, and you're proactive about who you let into your network, because you don't know who your friends let in, right? You can manage a lot of that.
So these are the absolute must-haves on LinkedIn. If you get, this is the vital 20% that'll get you 80% of your results on LinkedIn. I'll explain each of them, a quick overview, and then I'll explain what the heck I mean here. A headline is simply right below your name. We're going to show you an example of Mike Green's profile because he did such a great job. So we're going to show you some examples of all of this. But this is the overview, the headline. Professional picture, Mike has a great picture. A lot of people have the I have no friends cam, where it's this. You can tell they're holding the camera. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Get a professionally done photo. Shouldn't look like a driver's license photo either. Keyword-rich summary will show you an example of what Mike's looked like. Experience with numbers. I can't tell you how many examples of people on LinkedIn we see their experience. Not a single number. It's just, it looks like an HR job description was airlifted in there. It's going to just mean nothing to anybody. People are just craving for facts, figures, dollars, percentages, because it makes the reading much more easier, and your brain can picture numbers.
All of your accomplishments have to be in numbers or percentages on LinkedIn, and they should be that way in your resume as well. I have just gone back through version 3 of my book where my editor, lover, went and crossed out the percentage sign and wrote percent, and these were all in examples where I wrote, you got to put the numbers in, you got to put the symbols in. She didn't read that part, and she's gone through, so I have to go back through the book and put it all back in. But when you're reading text, numbers show up. And
don't spell out dollars, use the dollar sign. Sorry to jump on you, but I had to say that. People spell out dollars. No, use the dollar sign. Finally, recommendations. You can never have too many recommendations on LinkedIn. We'll show you an example of how this all hangs together. So this is Mike, Exhibit A. This is the profile that was getting him calls from recruiters fairly quickly. Good picture. He's got 3 skill sets here. This is a headline. Most people would say management professional or marketing/IT professional. It's just, this is a set of 3 skills that he wants to use: executive coach, capture, excellence consultant, proposal, development, excerpt. So one way to do it is to just pick 2 or 3 of your most valuable skills, make them up front there. The other way, which we call the promise method, is I save 33% per year in cost with skills in A, B, and C. So if you can make a specific promise, make it. My promise on my profile says, I shoot trouble with marketing. It's kind of a double entendre.
And the reason this is important is because when employers do a search, if they did a search for executive coach, they'd get a list. And all the titles would be executive coach all the way down. Well, so they got to go and read them all. And yet, they're not going to get executive coach. One of them is going to say executive coach, capture, excellence consultant, and proposal development executive. It just screams off the page. It's such a little thing, takes just seconds. It makes all the difference between whether your resume or your profile is read or not.
And what you can do, LinkedIn is very much like Twitter now, or Facebook. You can update your profile with what I'm doing now. So this is what Mike was doing most recently. He was telling his friends, hey, come join me. So thanks for listening. The summary section is full of keywords. Keywords are simply nouns that employers and recruiters look for. So the way to find out what to put in your summary section is to simply go out and find job postings that interest you, that you really like, and just borrow all of the keywords that apply to you. It's called reverse engineering. Just go find what's working and put those keywords, stuff them in here, also in your specialties area. But what Mike has done, he's not only got, it's full of good keywords, it's very conversational. It doesn't read like the yellow, the white pages or something. It's more of a conversational tone. But Mike's got some very good keywords here. It's very conversational, and this is just well done. His experience section, as David was saying, if you can see here, there are numbers, 300, 1.5 billion, 4.5 billion, lots of numbers for the brain to pick out and glom onto. And again, this is just really well done. And you can't see at the bottom here, but Mike already has 11 recommendations. Mike, you've been on LinkedIn for all of about 7 weeks? 7 weeks and 11 recommendations. That's very good. 16 by now. So it's like Google stock. It's going up even when we're not watching it. The way to get recommendations, by the way, is to give them.
Give recommendations.
Give them. Don't ask, give. Because when you give someone a recommendation on LinkedIn, the system prompts them, hey, David just recommended you. Would you like to recommend David? Okay. Well, I'm already here, and I'm thinking about him. So if you want 10 recommendations, give 20. If you want 15, give 30. We told Mike to do this, and Mike's very recommendable anyway. I'm not kissing up, it's just true. But if you want to get recommendations, give them. Okay, we're going to go to step 5, and then we're going to break, so we're about 5, 6 more slides away. Thank you for your patience. Networking. Now, we'll give you an overview of what goes into networking, then David's going to give you his patent-pending extreme networking method, which is how recruiters find candidates. But there are a lot of ways to be networking. Again, as Mike said, it's get in the game, get out and meet people. I was thanking everyone just for being here tonight, because you could be at home relaxing, but instead you're out. If you just meet one new person tonight, you're ahead of where you were 2 hours ago, so it's a productive night for you. But being helpful to others is simply doing what Mike does. He connects people, he makes introductions. If you help people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. Most people go into networking as, I'm looking for a job. Do you know anyone who's hiring? I can't tell you how many emails and voicemails I get with that exact same message. Do you know anyone who's hiring? That's just about me. If you're out there connecting Joe and Sally, putting them together, helping, you've got 2 people who are your fans now, and they're going to help you in return. So being helpful. You know about radio commercials and voicemails. David's talked about those. But we want to talk about extreme networking, which is another recruiter invention. So it's from the trenches of actual employment. And first of all, why are we looking at this?
How many people can ride a bike? Show of hands. Come on, guys. This is participatory. Okay, now, hands down. How many people, think hard, can you think back to when you started to first learn how to ride a bike? Do you remember? I mean, you're only like this far off the ground, but you're absolutely terrified you're going to fall, break your neck, end your life, crash into a tree. Okay, that was me. But you're scared. And then all of a sudden, you're on the bike, your parents are behind you, they're pushing you, and they let you go, and you go. Everybody learned to ride a bike pretty much the same way. If you had to go out and get a bike today, could you ride it? Yeah, because you mastered it. Because you had to do that uncomfortable thing probably 15 minutes out of your entire life, but you mastered riding a bike. What I'm going to teach you is along the same lines. This is going to make you probably as uncomfortable as you were when you first learned to ride a bike. What I want you to remember as I tell you this stuff, because it's easy to do, but I've been doing this for 25 years. Once you've done it once, and we force people to do this when we're doing boot camps, and some of them resist, but after they've done it once, they go, geez, that was easy. Nothing bad happened. So I want you to try this. Now, you flip the slide, please. Oh, good, done. Here's the problem with regular networking, especially in this situation right now. I was in Ottawa when they laid off 8,000 people, and they all got the same training. Here's how you network. You pick the companies you want to work for, and you call them up, and you talk to your friends, and you network your way in. How well is that working? It didn't work for anybody in Ottawa. And here's why it didn't work for anybody in Ottawa. All the same people were calling at the same time, And when you go into a recession, you know, the big guys from above come on down and they say, you know, we got a wage freeze, we've got a hiring freeze, we got layoffs, and we're not hiring anybody. So what does everybody in the company understand? You're not hiring anybody. Okay, we'll talk about attrition a little bit later, but they're not hiring anybody. So when you call them, they know that their company is not hiring. So you never get the information from them that you need, and you're never going to get the invitation inside to have an interview. Is there a better way to do this? Yes. Is there a better way to do this? Participate. Thank you. Yes, there is. And we call it extreme networking. I've rephrased it recently, and it's really what's called networking with the newly departed. Now, I'm not talking about dead people, so relax. What I'm talking about is, instead of going, if you pick your list of 10 companies, instead of going and talking to the people that currently work at the 10 companies and getting rebuffed because they're not going to be able to help you, or they're not going to want to help you because they want to keep their jobs, it's easier and it's far more effective to go and find people who used to work at that company, newly departed. Here's how this works. You go to Google, you type in the name of the company, you type in the name of the position of the hiring manager, or the name of the department like sales or marketing, and the location, and the word resume. And do you know what happens? Google goes away and comes back and gives you all the resumes that are on the net of everybody that ever worked at that company, and some of them are still working there, that ever worked at that company, and you just pick a couple of them, and you phone them up and you say, hi, my name's David Perry. I just got your resume off of Google. What's the person on the other end of the line thinking? Oh, great, a recruiter, yay. No, they're not ready. Yay, a recruiter's a job. And then you say, I just read your resume, and I'm doing some research, because I'm thinking about going and talking to these people that the company used to work for. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of quick questions? 9 times out of 10, people will say, no, what do you want to know? And remember your script, you got all the questions lined up? And if they say no, you got your rebuttal lined up, because 9 times out of 10, when they say no and you ask them again, they'll say, yeah, sure, what do you want? And you ask them all the questions that you would normally ask someone in an informational interview. What are their burning issues? What are the hot points? Who are their competitors? What products are they having difficulty delivering? You gather all this information. You do that for 2 or 3 people. And I do it personally when I'm going to get new clients. I do it before I ever talk to a client, I talk to people that used to work there. Why? Because when I pick up the phone and say to the president, hi, my name is David Perry, and you're so screwed. Your sales are down, your marketing's down, and this sucks. Do I have his attention? Yeah, I do. And if he hangs up, which has happened a couple of times, I just call back and go, listen, sorry, we got cut off. As I was saying. Stones. So what happens is, as you gather this information, you understand what their issues are, right? So when you're putting your guerrilla resume together, when you're doing your guerrilla cover letter, you can write understanding that every line that they're reading is poking them right in the eye with, this is one of your issues, I solved this. This is one of your issues, I solved this. This is one of your issues, I solved this. What happens when they get that? They go, holy, and they pick up the phone and go, hi, Dave, we got to talk. It is actually that simple. Now, when I started doing this, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, I had to do this by hand. You can now go to Google and do this. You can do this with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn allows you to find where people used to work, or the company where people moved to, and stuff like that. There's hundreds of ways that you can actually find this information. You go and do this kind of research, you'll watch your hit rate go through the ceiling, and you'll watch your interviews happen. The other way, not so good. What did I forget? Anything?
Nothing. And you used to have how many researchers on staff? Didn't you used to have like 3?
I had
2?
3.
Yeah. Now none.
I got none.
You got Google.
I got Google, and I've got ZoomInfo. I have an actual subscription to ZoomInfo.